Well, hello everybody and welcome again to an all-new Animal Behavior Chats. My name is Neil Hutchins Resto, aka the Treat Fairy, and I am here to bring you Miss Danielle Beck. Miss Danielle Beck and Miss Elaine Henley. Love Miss Elaine Henley. And we're going to go over puppy development today. For all of you that don't know, Miss Danielle Beck and I, we admin a group on Facebook called Positive Pet Advice. Go ahead and hashtag the Geeky Dog Trainer. And we get a lot of comments, questions, concerns, and we want to give you our overall professional opinions. So we're going to do some more animal behavior chats. We got a lot of stuff lined up. Danielle, introduce your guests. Do we have links up? We good?
I'm just looking to see if we're live yet because it takes a little bit to...
Yeah, sometimes it takes a second. And then our first couple seconds, we always talk like this.
I know.
It's all right. It's fine. We should just keep going.
We should know by now that it works, but you know we've been messed up before, so
yeah, we've been having some technical difficulties, and we want to thank everyone for hanging in there and really just sticking with us. And hopefully we have all of those kinks worked out. The kinky dog trainer.
We are complete novices when it comes to technology, really.
Yes, we do.
But we try.
We do try. Hello, Elaine. How are you? Thank you for joining us again. It's been a while.
We might be joined by one or two other of parrots because all of the parrots are out, as you can hear in the background.
Nothing streaming yet, Neil.
Let me see if I can pull you up. Got it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Let me see if I can.
Have you got it and I haven't?
Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
Because I'm good like that.
It's like every week there's like 5 minutes of us going, are we live yet? I'm not sure if we're live.
There you go. All right, we're on. You're good. But better we test it, and actually know before we actually start getting knees deep in conversation, and then we're like, oh, it's not up yet. Oh, you can't hear us.
It's like, what? I'm not there. Oh, it came up.
Technology baffles me.
Does it?
I just lost it.
It's not living. It doesn't have a pulse. So yeah, that's me.
I like to say, just like clicker training, I had to learn on the go. I wasn't just born a clicker trainer. I didn't know how to do it. You had to practice, and that's how you perfect your timing. So to me, it's the same thing, so for everyone hanging in there, understand we're learning something new too. So we need to praise ourselves. We need to take those accomplishments and we need to keep going because that's the only way we're going to make ourselves better.
So let me check our...
So...
yeah, awesome. I can see us. So that's cool. So I will just share this new link with everyone so they can make sure that they've got it.
I totally should have had more coffee today.
No, you don't need more coffee, Neil. Yeah, but I will introduce the lovely Elaine Henley, who is a very dear friend of mine. We are both APBC members together. We are both registered clinical animal behaviorists. She did the Southampton course as well. There's a little theme going here between the qualified people that I like to have on my show.
Or are you just picking your friends?
No, I mean, some of them happen to be friends. Others are just colleagues at the same organization.
I'm just busting your balls.
I'll bust yours,
You saw our photos.
Be careful, I have a very specific shot collar. And it's
it
doesn't go around your neck, does it?
No. But you know what's funny is I have a remote control that goes to a very similar one.
Yeah, so Elaine, not only is she an amazingly knowledgeable animal behaviorist, but she's also a breeder. And she breeds adorable little Cavalier King Charles. And I have met the majority of Elaine's dogs, the mums, the grannies, the puppies, and they are wonderful dogs, and she does such amazing work to make sure that people get the best out of their puppies. And to be honest, if every breeder did what Elaine does by sourcing the right kind of parents, you know, testing for health things, looking at the genetics, and then doing all the work that you're about to find out that she actually does for those 12 weeks when she has those puppies, I'd be out the job. Or I would be like greatly reduced because the puppies wouldn't have as many behavior problems. They wouldn't have as many just reactionary problems. There won't be as much anxiety because so much of this can be prevented by the breeders. So I'm going to hand over to Elaine and she can do a little bit of an intro about herself and her lovely puppies. And we have a few questions that we'll start posting. Anyone that's watching us live, if you look on the channel to your right, oh, thanks, Andy. Someone said it works. You will be able to chat to us live.
Nice.
And you can post your questions live and I will ask them as they come rolling in. Give us about 15 minutes to chat through because some of them we will answer naturally.
Get it.
But I will happily pass over to the lovely Elaine and she can tell you all about her puppies.
Thank you, Danny.
You're welcome.
Yes, as a clinical animal behaviorist, I take the role of breeding any species very, I take it very, very seriously. And with my Cavaliers, why did I choose Cavaliers? Because they are the ideal pet. And they are friendly, outgoing. They should be like a Cavalier, want to go out for a walk with you, or sit on your knee when you don't want to go out for a walk. So that is the temperament of a Cavalier. Yes, there are health concerns within the breed, but there are health concerns within all breeds. And I do think that the Cavalier has been singled out unfairly for some little issues that they may be having. Oh, we've got a flyby by Sparky.
Hi, Sparky. How are you?
So Sparky has joined us.
That's very nice.
Sparky was daft enough to land on Roy's cage.
Oh.
He's obviously taken exception to this, which is why you heard a big squawk.
I think he heard my voice and misses me from the weekend.
He probably does, but now,
Hi, Sparky.
Now he's telling me all about his big fright. Poor Sparky. But anyway, Sparky is joining us. Back to Cavaliers and dog breeding, the topic of our discussion this evening.
Yeah.
For me, it seemed quite simple. When we were at Southampton, we were studying our maths for our postgraduate diploma. We learned a lot about behavioural development. But one of the things that struck me was that so few breeders were actually applying that knowledge to what they were actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of breeders are so conscientious when it comes to breeding healthy pups. They're doing the testing. They're eliminating as far as they possibly can disease and infections with their litters of pups. But one of the things that they didn't have very much knowledge for was behavioural development. So that was where I set out to write some blogs and to do things properly, where even how a puppy is conceived can affect its future behavioural development. We know that the mother's being stressed at the point of conception can affect the developing fetal brains. So, for example, some breeders, if the bitch wasn't willing to stand, would actually force a mating. So therefore, that creates stress hormones, which can then affect the developing puppies. So that was a concern. So mating should be sex, drugs, and rock and roll, a weekend on the town. It should be between a willing male and a willing female. So that's important. Then, fast forwarding even that, worm prevention. We know that having a high worm burden can result in puppies that are more anxious, more fearful, difficult to tolerate and handled, and numerous other problems. So worming regime was very important to me. So that's kind of the health side of things. You do genetic tests, you try and pick as healthy a male as possible, you put 2 and 2 together, and hopefully you will have some puppies. Now, puppy development starts in the womb, but it continues once those puppies are born. One of the things I pioneered was scent cloths. Into the whelping box when the puppies were just born. The eyes aren't open, the ears aren't open, but they can still smell. And smell is the most important sense in a dog's life. So a sense that leaves them when they're adults. So I would have scent cloths of different people, different animals. I would put those into the welcome box. So
Okay.
even before the puppy's eyes were opened, those puppies were still exposed to a different world. The puppies and the mum are always in a quiet room inside the house for the first 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
Then, when the puppy's eyes and ears open up, they're transferred to a busier location, perhaps the dining room, perhaps the TV room.
Is there a reason why you transfer them like that?
Because the first 3 weeks of life, the mother feels very protective towards her babies.
Okay.
She needs
Oh.
quiet.
I couldn't hear you very well then.
Oh, sorry. But during the first 3 weeks, the mother needs to know that all is well, she is safe, the puppies are safe.
Okay.
There's a little bit of background noise coming in. Do both of you...
From
do either
where?
of you have like a TV rolling?
Not here.
Dad, can you turn the TV down a bit, please? We're having complaints on the internet.
There we go. Okay, it was just masking Elaine just enough. People were like, I can't hear Elaine, I can't hear Elaine. And I was like, here on out though, let's know you.
Interwebs on behalf of my father.
It's okay.
The problem for doing things when you have like childcare and you're like,
exactly,
my
yeah.
phone while I go live. Downside is you have a parent to deal with.
At least it wasn't Sparky. It wasn't Sparky telling stories.
No,
the first 3 weeks has to be kept quiet. She wants peace. She wants quiet. You cannot stress this time. This is a point in her life where she's continuously feeding the puppies. She's looking after them. She's cleaning them. She's being a mother. So we have to allow her that space. The puppies from 0 to 3 weeks of age have to be daily examined. They have to be picked up. They have to be made. We have to make sure that they're safe, they're healthy, they're gaining weight, and even that process of gentling stimulates their brain. And puppies that go through a process of gentling have quicker and more robust brain development.
Can you explain the gentling process to us for those of people that don't know what?
Gentling can be turning the puppy upside down, safely supporting his neck, his head and neck. It can be tickling his toes. It can just be making sure that his bottom is clean, that his mouth is okay. And it can just be cuddling them, which there is nothing nicer, as you know, when you've met my puppies, than cuddling a tiny puppy.
I was lucky enough to be around your litter when they were about 3 or 4 weeks old and got to kind of sniff them and it's amazing. Sorry.
But that contact.
Jelly.
So the bitch is then, after 3 weeks of age, she's moved out into a more noisier environment.
Yeah.
Room, the kitchen, the TV room. There's life going on. There's people hoovering. There's other dogs perhaps walking.
There's parrots.
There's parrots obviously in my house. And they are then beginning their socialization and habituation process. Then at 6 weeks of age, when the puppies are old enough, I begin to take them outside and we begin toilet training. So after they're eaten, they're taken outside. Before they've eaten, they're taken outside. And by Jove, we just keep shepherding these puppies outside for toilet training. So they're already beginning to get into the idea of toileting away from where they're sleeping.
Nice.
At 6 weeks of age, I take the puppies out. I take them in car journeys. At 6 weeks of age, they're all together.
Okay.
Then I take them on ferries. I take them to IKEA. I take them out in my big bag just to expose them to the world.
Yeah.
Then, around about 8 weeks of age, I begin to teach them to be on their own. It's a gradual process.
Nice.
So the child may be sharing a small crate with a sibling, and then eventually the siblings are separated, they're put into different locations, and by doing that, the puppy is learning how to cope with life on his own. So we're avoiding weaning distress. A huge thing that I do is the bitches are allowed to wean her own puppies. There is no forced
Okay.
weaning. Now, what we know from the science is when puppies are allowed to be weaned by the mother, they
Okay.
are able to cope with frustration and they are more likely to have bite inhibition than those dogs who don't. They go through a process of forced weaning, which is significant. So the puppies are then taken to classes at 8 weeks of age. I let
You
them,
take them to classes.
I take them to my dog training classes.
Awesome.
By all means, I have to. Okay, I'm gonna jump in there. I do the same thing, same shit. If I ever have puppies that are with me, like, cause well, I do. For people that don't know, I do a lot of rescue groups. So whenever they have litters, they'll basically go, "Oh shit, what do we do with this?" So they give it to me, and then I go through a lot of the puppy development with them and all that good stuff. Constantly take them to classes. Take them to classes. Take them to classes. If you're a breeder and you have it available, take them.
Yeah. When I take them to classes, they've always got a safe place that they can do if they wish. They're always in a big pen. So they can come out of the pen, they can come out of their safe place if they wish to, they can escape back. So they've got choices. So it's not a case of I take them along to the classes and I plunk them in the middle of the floor and say, go forth, puppy, and cope. They've got escape routes. And then they can interact or sleep, but they're still being socialized. Another thing I do is I teach them how to have car journeys on their own. So it's not just always the nasty things like going off to the vets. It's for enjoyment. We go down to the beach. And I do this individually. Where I live, Danny, you know where I live.
Back into nowhere.
Exactly. So we always have to go out in the car. And a puppy always goes on a journey with it. So by the time those puppies go to their new homes at 10 weeks of age, they're pretty much bomb proof.
Yeah.
They're already vaccinated. I always did that. They're already microchipped because everything nasty happens with me and their mummy. So when they're microchipped, when they're vaccinated, mummy goes to the vets with us.
Oh, lovely.
I don't take them on their own. Mummy is there. I also, because I'm lucky enough, I've got the grandmother, the auntie. They can also have social interaction with the older dogs.
Okay.
A little bit too indulgent for my liking, but often can be a little bit harsher with them than mother would be.
Yeah.
So, nice family group. By the time they leave me, I utilize my neighbors. We've got little kids coming in to not even just play with the puppies, doesn't have to be picking up. So they very are much exposed to life, the TV, the radio. So I do a lot. Then by the time they go, they already know bite inhibition. They can sit. They know to toilet away from where they sleep. So those are the big ones. The big ones. If, and you're absolutely correct, Danny, if more breeders did this, our workload would be reduced to dogs who had psychological and psychiatric conditions.
Yeah, the ones that actually have some kind of genetic thing or a neurological condition or have suffered severe trauma that, you know, the socialization stuff hasn't managed to prevent. It wouldn't be as much of a lot of the cases that I see, probably similar to yours, is things where quite often when you look through the history of why the dog's either reacting or he's stressed or he's anxious, the puppy almost came to the person broken.
Yes.
It's almost like they just got a broken puppy and they did the best that they could do with what they had.
Yeah, talking on the TV. BBC.
Oh, I can't hear you.
I was on BBC Two a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Online, and I was being asked about the increase in dog to human aggression and dog to dog aggression. And it was looking for possible causes. And I was asked the question, is it bad owners? Well, they fully expected me to say, oh yes, it's bad owners. Instead I said, no. A lot of the dogs I'm seeing are already broken at 8 weeks of age. And those poor caregivers are playing catch up the rest of that dog's life.
Yeah, it's such a shame.
It's unfair.
Yeah.
Breeders are selling inappropriate breeds to inexperienced caregivers without fully highlighting the breed faults.
I think a lot of people forget to do that because when you think
Yeah.
of breeds in general, is that these are dogs that have been bred for the past 100+ years, let's say, to do specific jobs in specific categories.
Yes.
And if you watch litters of puppies, and there was a website that used to scan like lots of puppy litters and you can see the difference. And if you watch, say, a Labrador litter, they'll quite often kind of bounce around each other and they will carry things in their mouths. They're retrievers, they like things in their mouths. If you see collie puppies, if there's anything that moves, they'll stalk and they'll chase. You see terrier puppies, they're kind of all over each other and they're grabbing things and they're shaking. And they have these kind of inbuilt almost blueprints of what they will do. And these are there, these are genetic. They can't be changed.
Well,
They can be channeled, they can learn to adapt to them and to harness them in appropriate ways.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the times, it's the dogs that have these issues. And if the wrong dog or the wrong breed is given to the wrong owner, doesn't understand how this breed works, doesn't understand the drive this breed has, it can cause so many problems. In some cases, can be lethal.
Of course it can. For example, I was working with a German Shepherd. It's bitten 2 people, and you know how much I adore the German.
You do.
I love them.
You
The
do.
German Shepherd who was behaving unusually for a German Shepherd. This dog was sold to a girl who worked full time. She was a single income family. Yes, she had the dog walker there, but she didn't have a clue what she was taking on in terms of German Shepherd behaviour. But more worrying, the breeder was breeding dogs that had a high history of epilepsy and other psychiatric conditions. And were disclosing these to the public when they bought the litter of pups. So even 8 weeks of age, when we took the case history, this German Shepherd was not behaving normally. And this poor girl was traumatized at taking this into her home. She felt like a failure. She felt it was all her fault that this dog had bitten. And my job was to explain to her why the behavior occurred and the fact that the dog left the breeder already a lemon.
Yeah.
He dispossessed to have behavioral problems, and she was just a poor person that had to cope with it.
Yeah.
And that for me is highly annoying. It's also, as a breeder who cares passionately, I really dislike bad breeders.
Mm-hmm. Not to like.
Oh, Neil.
But I really dislike bad breeders intently. I dislike the people that aren't putting care and due consideration into the litters that they're bringing into this world. The fact that they aren't asking the correct questions from people when they're wanting to buy a puppy.
Has Neil just vanished?
I can still see him. Hi, Neil.
Okay. As long as it's all gone. But no, because with the breeders, there are just so many not too good ones. And the unethical business approach that a lot of them take, particularly when you consider like your puppy farm style, and how they will kind of buy in litters and they will put them into people's homes and try and actually convince the public that these puppies were actually born and raised in this home environment.
Oh,
And
yes.
you're like, no, they were born somewhere in the middle of God knows where,
But
and then
also
just shipped over.
of farmers selling the farm collies, riddled with worms like spaghetti. The puppies are fearful and nervous. They've been bred in a dark barn. They've never seen the daylight. The person who goes to buy them doesn't see the mother up close so far that she can touch them. And they take this collie into their home. They get the dog wormed, not realizing that the damage is already done.
Yeah.
They wait for vaccination protocols before they can get the puppy out. By that time, the collie is terrified of traffic, terrified of people, terrified of life.
Yeah. I mean, with going back to the mum, there's a lot of situations where I see with some of my clients where the mum's been kept outside,
Oh,
or the mum was aggressive towards the litter.
yes.
That's not normal behaviour for a lot of animals. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That is normal.
So if someone goes into a breeder's house and they say, oh, the mum's out the back because she's getting a bit aggressive towards the litter, or she's out for a walk, would you recommend they walk away, or just wait until they bring the mum back and see the mum interacting with the pups?
Absolutely, you walk away. You walk away quickly.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk when they're talking about pack dynamics and that stupid stuff about wolves being dogs and dogs being wolves.
Because we're chimps after all.
Yes, and they'll say that the mother scruffs the dog, the puppy.
Yeah.
No, she jolly well doesn't. The mother doesn't need to. The mother is like Moses with those puppies.
Yeah, you
Walks
tell
into
him,
the room,
Sparky.
She's filing her nails, is reading the newspaper, thinking what disco she's going to on a Friday night, while the puppies are running around playing, and then a tone changes, and then she wades in, low growl, hard stare, and those puppies all give it, oh crap, Mum, we'll behave. She doesn't put a paw on them. She doesn't need to, because she is mother.
Yeah.
She is mother.
So they get that respect automatically.
Automatic respect for them. Now, if ever a mother dog shows aggression towards her puppies, there is something wrong with that mother. And my big advice would be get the litter of pups away, seek a surrogate mother, and make sure that bitch never has puppies again. It is unusual and it shouldn't be occurring.
Yeah.
Do you ever find problems with, because sometimes you'll keep a pup yourself,
Yes.
and that pup will then grow up with the rest of its family. Do you ever find any kind of problems when the pup starts to get older, when she starts to become more of like breeding age, like 6-7 months old, and becomes a bit of like a cocky teenager? Or does she just respect mum forever?
Oh, no. What tends to happen when you keep a puppy is that there's going to be social problems because in the mother's mind, you should have left home and went and got a job. You shouldn't be living at home anymore. So the fact that you are living at home, there's social tension.
Mm-hmm.
So the sensible person who keeps a puppy will do all of the lovely advice that we give to people when there's an elder dog in the household and you bring a puppy in. You treat them separately.
Right.
You take them out for separate walks so that the young puppy can discover the world on her own or his own without mum there.
Yeah.
You take them out, you socialize them, you play with them, you build that bond between that pup and you. Now, by the time you do all of that, play, once they get over 12 weeks of age, has to be supervised between them. Interaction is supervised. And then by doing that, you're lessening the effects of social maturity on the relationships between the dogs. So by doing that, you don't have an issue. Again, it's just a little bit of common sense.
But in the words of Voltaire, common sense is anything but common.
I'll go through the ones on the page, and then if anyone listening has any questions that they want to put on, type away in the chat. Let's get some interaction going. So the first one is from a new puppy owner. So some of these questions have been answered already in our last chat on puppies from Lauren Watts. And it's little things like the type of dogs to have around small children. And it depends how small the child is, in my opinion. Because if you're going to get like a puppy with a baby, just avoid it if you can. It's too much hard work. Don't put that pressure on yourself. The idea of a baby, well, a child and a dog growing up together is wonderful. Wait till the child's like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Until the child is old enough to actually understand when you say, don't go near the dog when it's in its bed. Don't go near the dog when it's eating. Don't go near the dog here. And you can actually have control of that child. Try not to do it if they're 2. They don't understand.
Danny, I won't sell a puppy into a household where there's a child under the age of 5.
Woo! That's why you're a good breeder.
I know. And I have to meet that child.
Yes.
I have 3 sons myself. I know how children should be behaving.
Yes.
And
right.
There have been occasions where I've met the family, I met the children, and there's something about the child.
Oh no! We dropped the call.